Every day, millions of people hear the same story. Ancient men, they say, were born to dominate. Powerful alpha males surrounded by endless women. Social media, dating podcasts, and self-proclaimed relationship experts repeat this idea so often that it feels like common sense. But now, imagine stepping back 30,000 years into a hunter-gatherer camp illuminated only by firelight. The reality you would witness is astonishingly different. Archaeology, evolutionary biology, and modern genetics tell a story that overturns one of the most popular myths about masculinity. And by the end of this video, you may never look at your ancestors, or yourself, the same way again. If you've spent any time listening to modern dating advice, you've probably heard the statistic before. Nearly 85% of the 849 societies studied by anthropologist Joseph Henrich recognize some form of polygyny. At first glance, that sounds like overwhelming proof that ancient men lived with multiple wives. But here's the question that almost nobody asks. Who actually had access to that privilege? There's a world of difference between a society allowing polygyny and the average man living it. In reality, those additional wives were usually reserved for kings, tribal chiefs, wealthy elders, or exceptionally influential hunters. For everyone else, life looked very different. Most men struggled to find even one long-term partner, and many never married at all. Evolution wasn't a fantasy where every male became a legendary conqueror. It was an unforgiving competition shaped by food, reputation, cooperation, and survival. So before we accept the modern alpha male narrative, we need to travel back to where human relationships were truly forged. Not in palaces or empires, but in small hunter-gatherer bands where every decision could determine whether a family survived another season. And what scientists discovered there completely changes the story. Picture yourself standing beneath the acacia trees of Tanzania's Rift Valley, among the Hadza, one of the last hunter-gatherer societies whose way of life offers a rare window into our evolutionary past. A typical camp contains only around 150 people. There are no luxury homes, no bank accounts, and certainly no social media status. Every sunrise begins the same way. Food must be found, or someone goes hungry. Now ask yourself, if you lived here, what would make you an attractive partner? Strength alone? Confidence? Or something far more practical? Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hrdy argues that a mother raising a young child often needs nearly twice the calories she can gather by herself. Suddenly, a dependable hunting partner becomes more than a romantic choice. It becomes a survival strategy. But here's the fascinating part. In Hadza and Kung communities, even the best hunters are prevented from becoming arrogant through a tradition known as insulting the meat. When a hunter returns with a large animal, the tribe deliberately downplays his achievement, reminding everyone that no individual is greater than the community. Would our modern idea of an alpha male survive in a society like this? Probably not. Reputation wasn't earned through domination. It was earned through generosity, reliability, and sharing. Qualities that quietly shaped who found a mate and who was trusted to raise the next generation. Then genetics entered the conversation and completely changed what scientists thought they knew. Hidden inside every man is a Y chromosome, passed almost unchanged from father to son. Women, meanwhile, pass mitochondrial DNA to all of their children. By comparing these genetic markers across populations, researchers uncovered an astonishing pattern. Throughout much of human history, roughly twice as many women as men successfully passed on their genes. Then came an even greater surprise. Around 5000 to 7,000 years ago, humanity experienced what geneticists call a male genetic bottleneck. At one point, there may have been only one reproducing man for every 17 reproducing women. Think about that for a moment. If you had been born during that era, what are the chances your family line would have survived to the present day? The answer is far lower than most people imagine. This wasn't because men suddenly disappeared. It was because a relatively small number of powerful men fathered most of the next generation, while countless others left no descendants at all. The DNA carried by millions of people today still preserves the silent record of that extraordinary inequality, waiting thousands of years for science to finally read its story. What caused such a dramatic collapse in male genetic diversity? The leading explanation begins with one of humanity's greatest revolutions: agriculture. Around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, people no longer depended entirely on what they could hunt or gather each day. Land, livestock, grain, and wealth could now be accumulated, inherited, and defended. For the first time in history, resources and power could remain in the hands of a single family for generations. Imagine being a poor farmer watching a small elite control not only the richest land, but also the greatest opportunities to start a family. As wealth concentrated, so did reproductive success. Powerful men could secure multiple wives, forge political alliances through marriage, and pass both property and status to their sons. Meanwhile, thousands of ordinary men never had children at all. Even more intriguing, a 2024 study suggests another force may have amplified this imbalance. In societies organized around patrilineal clans, where descent followed the father's line, brutal conflicts between rival clans could wipe out entire Y chromosome lineages in a single generation. Could war have erased thousands of family names before history was ever written? Our DNA suggests that, in many cases, the answer may be yes. If you think this inequality belonged only to prehistory, think again. History is filled with rulers who pushed it to astonishing extremes. Genetic studies suggest that the Y chromosome linked to Genghis Khan is carried by roughly 16 million men alive today, a remarkable reminder of how one powerful lineage could spread across continents. Chinese emperors maintained vast imperial harems. Powerful rulers in many civilizations accumulated hundreds, or even thousands, of women, while ordinary men were left with none. Now imagine you're one of those ordinary young men. What choices would you have? Accept your fate? Or fight to change it? History shows that when large numbers of men have little hope of finding partners or building families, societies often become more unstable. Rates of violence, raiding, and conflict tend to rise. Some historians even argue that Viking raids were fueled in part by this reproductive imbalance, as ambitious young warriors sought wealth, status, and opportunities unavailable at home. Over time, civilizations discovered an unexpected solution: socially enforced monogamy. This wasn't simply a moral ideal or a return to nature. It functioned as a political technology, distributing reproductive opportunities more evenly, reducing internal conflict, and encouraging fathers to invest their time and resources in raising the next generation. Could one marriage rule have helped build more stable civilizations? The evidence suggests it did. Today, you live in a world of billions of strangers. Yet your brain was never designed for this reality. Evolution shaped it for small communities of roughly 150 people, where everyone knew your reputation, remembered your actions, and judged whether you could be trusted. Have you ever wondered why rejection feels so painful, why social status seems to matter so much, or why the desire for acceptance can be so overwhelming? These aren't flaws in your character. They are echoes of an ancient world that still lives inside your nervous system. That's why the popular alpha male myth misses the point entirely. The average man who became your ancestor didn't succeed by ruling a harem or intimidating everyone around him. More often, he earned a partner through reliability, cooperation, generosity, and the respect of the people who knew him best. Those quiet qualities, repeated across countless generations, are the reason your family line survived when millions of others disappeared forever. So the next time someone claims that evolution is all about domination, remember this story instead. You are the product of an unbroken chain of survival stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. If you enjoyed uncovering the science behind our ancient past, subscribe to the channel and join us for the next journey into the hidden history your body still remembers.